Just wide receivers here. When Trey Lance throws the ball, they can't catch it. When Jimmy Garoppolo throws the ball, they can't catch it. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Mohamed Sanu, anyone not named Ross Dwelley can't catch the freaking ball. Explain that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at this and trying to figure out what's going on because the 49ers have gotten progressively worse over the last 4 years with their drops. They've gone from like 12th worst in the league to 4th, to 3rd, and now they're at 7.2%, which is the worst in the league. The receivers are dropping over 10% of the passes, 10 out of 91 targets. Deebo Samuel, who is leading the team in targets, has dropped 6. He's over 10%. He's dropped over 10% since he joined the 49ers. Yeah. So, I think the one thing, and you kept trying to ask this question throughout training camp, and you could never get a straight answer from anybody. Right. Yeah. Was is there a difference? Is catching the ball from Trey Lance different from catching the ball from Jimmy Garoppolo? That was pretty much the gist of your question.
My dad used to ask that question of players when Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick were on the team, and it was his way of trying to get some descriptive words that you could use as judgments. And some players would go up for it, some players wouldn't. But I was just taking a trick of my dad's. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. And using that, I mean, that was probably one that he probably used that back on when Joe Montana was here.
Exactly.
Joe and Steve.
Well, that's a different spiral. One's coming this way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ball spin in different directions. I remember Jerry Rice said he didn't like that.
He had to have one of I forget the guy's name, but there was a special equipment man who was left-handed who would throw to Rice every day so he could get the feel of the spin. These things. Anyway. Yeah. If you're feeling a little uncomfortable about the way the ball is coming to you, catching the ball for a living is what you do, work it out. Jerry Rice found a left-handed guy, caught his passes forever. Him and Steve Young are one of the most prolific duos of all time. Deebo, you want to be an all-time great? You don't know who Jerry Rice is, but that's the standard. You've heard of him. You haven't watched him play. He used to catch bricks. You figured it out. Figure it out, man, because you drop hella freaking passes for a good player. You shouldn't drop them.
That's funny that you. How could you play for the?
That question. I was like, "Have you ever watched Jerry Rice play?" He was like, "No."
How could you play for the 49ers?
What?
How can you play how can you play wide receiver for the 49ers and have never watched Jerry Rice play? That's amazing to me.
Jerry Rice, you should have his number.
Exactly. You should be working out with him.
What are you doing?
Jerry Rice could probably still run up that hill faster than Deebo Samuel anyway.
59 years old.
Yeah.
Looks great though. Looks like he's 45.
Yeah, I don't, as far as why they can't, I don't really have a solid answer for it.
I have a theory. Here's the thing.
Give me your theory. I'll tell you if you're wrong.
If they were great at catching the ball, if their results were exemplary and they were making strides every year, what would you say? Hey, that position coach is really, let's give Wes Welker some credit.
Sure.
He's really getting results with that group. Mm-hmm. Well, he's not getting results with this group. So he might be a great wide receiver coach. It's just right now that's a mystery. I guess hidden deep down, and we'll have to find that because he's not expressing that inner goodness that may exist. I don't see it. Wes. And what's so funny is in practice, you'll see it before, like you'll see them going through the things, and he knows that they can't catch the ball, so he tries to throw it as hard as he can to really ratchet up the difficulty. He's like, Wes, you're not. That's not what they need, man. I know Jerry Rice got the left. You're not. There's no way that you could throw the ball hard enough to simulate what Trey Lance can do. So I appreciate you trying, but this ain't it, man.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, and the other part of that is if he's going to be firing those balls in there, he's got to make sure he gets the proper wobble on it too, so they get used to seeing that come at him too.
He can do the wobble. That's no problem, but I don't think he's even coming close to the velocity that Trey Lance is putting on that thing.
Oh,
it's
no.
funny to see all 5'7" of Wes Welker try, though. And he's like, jumps into it. It's like
Well, I don't know. I was thinking about this question before we jumped on. And isn't it interesting to you that every single day they do the same exact drills? Every day, the quarterbacks do the same drills every day. There's never any kind of variety with what they do.
Like when I didn't play football. When I played baseball, there was always new hitting drills, new fielding drills. And I looked forward to practice. And that was JV. I was thinking, like, is that really football? This looks awful, dude. They do the same drills all year, every day. It's so boring. That's what they do in the Niners. Is that what other teams do?
I don't think so. I know that we never did that
Really?
when
Yeah.
in my experience it was, you have your basic drills, but then you have other things that kind of come off it that every once in a
Yeah.
while you kind of throw a little twist at it. And especially if you're seeing guys have a problem in a certain area over and over and over again, like, guys at quarterbacks that are sailing the ball high or receivers that are dropping the ball, you come up with a little bit different things to force them to work on that.
I
Take your
think
take
part
your
of it may be that they know the media is watching and they're trying to show the same thing every day so that we can't. But it's like you're wasting your own time, man. Like what? I know you
Yeah.
don't want to show. Maybe when we leave, you do everything, all the other good stuff. But what do you have? Like 45 minutes when we're not there? I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And up until that point, it's
Yeah.
their individual period, and then they run their routes.
Same.
But during that individual session before they get to where they're running, doing their routes, you think that there'd be
What do they
some
do?
mix
They
up.
practice little different things. They go back and forth, and they do the same. I've filmed it, and then when the quarterbacks
Mhm.
too, Rich Gangarello, they do that god awful drill where the quarterbacks shuffle around for 7 seconds and then throw the ball across every day,
Mhm.
every day, and then they practice quick throw, 3-step drop. They basically the
Mhm.
different shots. That's fine.
Yeah, they kind of work on throwing whatever routes they have that are going to be in
Yeah,
their game plan that week
yeah,
and whatever. Yeah, it's funny that we say this about the offense, but then you go over and you watch the defense, and that's the opposite over there. The defensive side actually does do different things on a regular
yes,
basis.
that's right.
The defensive linemen have certain things they do every
Sure,
day, but then they also every once in a while they throw in the hoop drill where they're doing the figure eight around the
that's
hoops,
true.
or they do a rotation where everybody's working on fumble recoveries, what have you,
That's a
stripping.
great point. I hadn't
You
thought
know,
of that. That is
the
so
defense
true. They
the
switch it up.
defense the defensive side switches it up. The offense is the same thing every day, and it's the offensive lineman may kind of switch up a little bit, but
Maybe the tight ends and the way they do their blocking stuff, but the wide receivers, the
and the
running backs,
and the quarterbacks do the same thing every day,
yeah, very strange.
every single day, and it's not good. I mean, it's good for your muscle memory in a way, but you've got to kind of mix it up a little bit. You got to have some different things that are coming at you every once in a while,
Yeah,
especially.
it's got to be better than Wes Welker throwing as hard as he can. Come on,
Uh-huh.
come
Or
on.
even the drill that the quarterbacks are doing. I understand the thought and what that's
Sure, I
about,
do. Yes,
but they've got to if you've got a quarterback, if your quarterbacks are consistently off with their throws, and a lot of it's because their arms are not getting their arm up enough regularly. Put something out there to make them have to get their arm up over and over again.
thank you.
Change it up a
Right,
little bit.
because that's your point of emphasis. What you're doing right now is the point of emphasis is pocket movement.
Hmm.
Well, that's not the issue right now. The issue is more like throwing mechanics,
Yeah,
I'm really throwing off
I've
platform. So I don't know. Yeah,
I know. I always my thought is always you look at what you're good at, and you kind of continue those, but the things that you're struggling with, you want to spend some time focusing on fixing that. If we don't ever see the 49ers do that
you're
on
not going to
offense.
improve a weakness unless you make it a point of emphasis. I mean, that's pretty much in anything.
Hmm.